You see, there are some days that just look normal from the outside. Days when the sky is too bright for bad news. When the sun shines like God pressed the high brightness button himself. But somewhere beneath that ordinary light, something is quietly waiting to shock you. That's exactly how my own day started. Bright, hopeful, and too calm for what was about to happen. Abuja was peaceful that morning. And me, I was just trying to go for one simple job interview at Area 11. Simple, ordinary, or so I thought. But 3 hours later, stuck in traffic on that Kosh Nyanya stretch, I found myself staring at a face in the next car. A face that looked exactly like mine. That morning started like every other. I woke up early, took my bath with bucket water because the tap had refused to cooperate again. Power had gone since 3 a.m., so I on my share to generator power. A small tiger gen that sounds like a wounded mosquito, but still does the job. I told myself, today I must shine. This interview, now my chance. I left home around 3:30 a.m. sharp. My plan was to reach Area 11 by 9 a.m. for a 9:30 a.m. interview. I even felt proud of myself, a rare, punctual Nigerian. But Abuja traffic had other plans. The moment I reached Nyanya Junction, everything just froze. I mean, froze. Like somebody paused the city. Cars were stacked like sardines, horns blasting like an orchestra of frustration. Even hawkers looked tired of hawking. I sighed, adjusted my tie, and told myself, small delay, no wahala. But that small delay turned into something else. By 8:30 a.m., I hadn't moved more than 10 meters. I could actually see the same tree I parked beside when I joined the jam. At first, I tried to be calm. I scrolled through my phone, replied to messages, even listened to some inspirational audio. Soon, my patience started turning into irritation. Hawkers kept knocking on my window every 2 minutes. One sold gala, another pure water. Another one tried to sell me something that looked like a car perfume, but I'm sure it was just ordinary air freshener mixed with regret. Then one small boy approached my car and shouted, Oga, make I wash your windscreen? I said, no, I beg. Before I finished, he had already poured dirty soap water on my glass and started scrubbing with a rag that looked older than Nigeria's democracy. I just laughed because if you don't laugh in Abuja traffic, you'll cry. By 9:30 a.m., I accepted that I was late. The interview was gone. My white inner shirt had started turning cream, and sweat was writing poems under my armpits. I reclined my seat a little and started watching people. That's the thing about traffic. It's like a free documentary about Nigerian madness. There was a woman in the car beside me applying makeup like she was auditioning for a Nollywood role. Another man was brushing his teeth inside his car, spitting out through the window with zero shame. Then there was one keke driver who kept shouting, enter small small, don't be your papa rude, every time a car tried to squeeze beside him. But in all that chaos, one car caught my attention. It was a dusty silver Corolla just beside me on the left. The driver looked calm, too calm for this kind of traffic. He was just staring straight ahead, like his mind was somewhere else. I almost admired his composure until I looked closer and my heart froze. Because the man's face, his face looked exactly like mine. At first, I thought my eyes were deceiving me. Maybe the sun reflected from his glass and made it look that way. But no. Same eyes, same nose, same scar above the left eyebrow. The same one I got from falling off a bicycle when I was 7. I blinked, looked again. He was still there, still calm, still looking straight ahead, completely unaware that someone in the next car was silently freaking out. My first thought was, is this a prank? Then maybe I'm dreaming. Then, wait, oh, is this juju? I reached for my phone, opened the camera app, and secretly zoomed in. The more I zoomed, the more my heart raced. It wasn't just resemblance. It was a copy, a carbon copy. And right there, in the middle of Abuja's most helpless traffic jam, I started questioning everything I knew about my life. My mind went into overdrive. Could I have a twin my parents never told me about? Was this guy stalking me? Or could it be some kind of deep fake nonsense? You know how Nigerians like to say, there are 7 people in the world that look like you. I didn't believe that nonsense until that moment. But this one wasn't just look alike. This was DNA level copy and paste. Looked again. He scratched his beard. I scratched mine. It felt like we were in a mirror. At one point, I tried to get his attention, waved lightly, honked softly, but traffic was too loud and he didn't notice. Then, as if fate was mocking me, traffic started moving slowly. When cars began to crawl forward, the Corolla beside me moved a few meters ahead. Instinct took over. I followed. I didn't even care about the traffic officer shouting or the horn blaring behind me. I had to see him again. Every few meters, I'd get close. But then, a keke or bus would squeeze between us. It became a mini chase, like a slow motion race of destiny, inside bumper to bumper traffic. By now, my brain was boiling. Who was this man? Why did he have my face? At some point, I leaned out of my window and tried to shout. But before I could, one man screamed beside me, "Oga, move your motor. You dey cause hold up for everybody." I sighed. Even in a moment of this magnitude, Abuja will not let you rest. Traffic eased slightly after Nyanya. The Corolla started moving faster, and I thought I'd lost him. But then, fate played another card. A fuel tanker broke down just ahead, blocking half the road. Cars started slowing again, and that was when I saw him, parked at the side, engine off. I slowly rolled my car closer, heart pounding like generator sound. He was looking at something on his phone, still unaware of me. I stopped beside him, turned my head, and for the first time, our eyes met. And in that 1 second, time froze. He looked at me like I was staring at a ghost, and I looked back like I'd seen mine. It wasn't fear in his eyes, it was recognition. I don't know how long we stared, but in that silence, my brain started flashing images from my childhood. My mother used to tell me a strange story when I was little, that when I was born, there was complication. She said she had fainted during childbirth and didn't wake up for almost a day. She never spoke much about that period. Whenever I asked, she'd say, "Don't worry, my son, you are special." But looking into that man's face, that same scar, those same eyes, I suddenly understood what special might have meant. Was it possible my mother had twins and one disappeared? He slowly rolled down his window. I did the same. The air between us felt heavy, like Abuja heat mixed with destiny. We didn't speak, no words, just eyes talking. Confusion, fear, recognition all at once. Then, as if God was directing the traffic of fate, the lane started moving again. I motioned for him to follow me. I turned off into a small filling station by the roadside. He followed. We parked side by side. I stepped out, and so did he. Seeing him up close was even more shocking. We were the same height, same build. Everything matched, even the small birthmark behind the ear. I was shaking slightly. My mouth was dry. He, equally, looked stunned. In that silence, he opened his wallet, took out an old photo, a baby picture. I froze again. It was me, or him, or us. 2 babies, identical, both wrapped in white cloths. On the front, a faint handwriting said, Abuja General Hospital, 1999. That was the exact year and hospital I was born in. My legs suddenly felt weak. I leaned on my car. The world around me, the honking, the heat, the hawker shouting, everything faded into background noise. He spoke softly, almost whispering. And though I can't repeat his exact words, the meaning hit me like thunder. He had grown up in Jos, raised by foster parents who told him he was adopted after being found at a hospital fire incident. Hospital fire? My mom once mentioned something about a fire in the maternity ward the week I was born. That was it. That was the missing link. We were twins separated by chaos, reunited by traffic. For a moment, I laughed hysterically. Like, what kind of joke is this? 3 hours in traffic, sweating, cursing, losing hope, only to find my literal twin brother in the next car. Even the hawker selling gala beside us looked confused. He just said, Oga, na film be this? I nodded absent-mindedly. Something like that. Behind the laughter, tears came. Not the loud crying type, just quiet, heavy tears. Because in that moment, everything made sense. My mother's silence, the strange feeling of loneliness I'd carried all my life. All because one hospital fire, 20 something years ago, decided to scatter two lives. We exchanged numbers, promised to meet properly the next day. But even as we drove off in separate directions, I kept glancing at my side mirror, half expecting him to disappear like a mirage. When I got home that evening, I sat quietly in my room for hours. The day that started with frustration had ended with revelation. 3 hours of delay that looked like punishment turned out to be the best detour of my life. A week later, we met again, this time with my mom. When she saw him, she screamed. Then she fainted. When she finally came around, she broke down crying. Through tears, she confessed the truth. She had twins, but during the hospital fire, one baby was declared missing. She never told anyone, not even my father, because she believed the baby was dead. She said she always felt something missing inside her, like a shadow of another heartbeat. Now that missing heartbeat stood right before her. My brother. You see, sometimes life delays you not to punish you, but to position you. That traffic I hated so much, that delay I caused, it wasn't delay at all. If I had reached that interview early, I would have missed my brother forever. Now, whenever I sit in traffic, I don't complain again. I just smile because somewhere between chaos and order, between horn and silence, between pain and relief, something beautiful might be waiting. And who knows, maybe the next car beside you isn't just another frustrated driver. Maybe it's a piece of your own story waiting to recognize you. The next time traffic holds you hostage, don't just frown and curse the government. Breathe, look around. You never know what miracle might be packed right beside you. Because sometimes, in Nigeria's worst delays, God hides the biggest surprises. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, hit the like button, drop a comment, share it with your people. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. See you in the next one.